Welcome back to Off the Dribble, featuring myself, a fan of the 2024-2025 NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder, and Chetan. Nice. So, as you guys may have known, the Thunder won the NBA championship after me watching 1,200 something games, watching the Thunder choke a 3-1 lead to the Warriors, watching Dame whatever, watching the Jazz, watching James Harden make the only defensive player of his career. Finally, it has happened. Chetan, thoughts?
Congratulations. I mean, I think I thought I called it. I think you guys were gonna win this game. It was honestly a pretty decent game until the middle of the third, and then the Pacers did kind of make a small little push in the fourth quarter at the end a little bit. Huge shout out to TJ McConnell. Played a great series. After Tyrese got hurt, unfortunate circumstances. Hate to see a star player go down like that. In a game 7, I think players should finally start to realize that playing through a calf strain is not ideal for your body. Even though it's a game 7, I get it, but there's is there a possibility he'll be out for the beginning of the season next year?
He's not playing next year.
He's not playing next year?
No.
Yeah, okay. See, I get it's a game 7 of the NBA Finals, but now you're not even gonna have the opportunity to try again next year. That team is gonna be not at full strength, but I mean McConnell, what TJ did was actually it's pretty crazy. I think at least 5 out of 7 games of the series, his impact was very much there. I think he put it all out on the court. You saw how he was at the end. Just came up a little bit short. But on going to your guys' side, I mean, I think that was a game where everybody on the team kind of contributed. Shai had a double-double, great playmaking throughout the whole game. I think people were trying to say throughout the series, he's MVP, but he's not getting his team involved. His playmaking isn't as good. I think he kind of shut that down. Did he even have a turnover?
He had 1 turnover.
Yeah. I think he at one point had 10 assists with no turnovers, and then he ended up getting 1. But J-Dub also was aggressive. His shot wasn't falling in the beginning of the game. Then it started to fall down a little bit more. He went downhill. So I think it kind of shows that that collectiveness, and was kind of a full team win. Lou Dort hit some timely buckets. Alex Caruso came in the game, played amazing. I think he had 3 threes in a row in the when he first came. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a full contribution from everyone, and yeah, well-deserved win and well-deserved championship.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, right? Because I think I've been picking the Thunder to win the chip the whole year. And yeah, I've been Thunder win the chip the whole year, and it's almost like the excitement was kind of pushed over the whole season. You kind of felt it coming the whole time. It's surreal to finally say that my basketball team actually won something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've never been this confident something would happen the whole year. Every other year, my basketball fan has been like we might lose. But this time it's you can ask Chetan, you can ask whoever I've talked to about basketball. I wasn't really stressed at all about 7. It was weird. It was a weird sense of security supporting a 68 win team, supporting the MVP, and it's nice to see it come to fruition. Obviously prayers to Tyrese. You don't want to ever see a player go down like that. But I kind of disagree with your take. If it's a game 7, a once in a lifetime opportunity, I'm just gonna play. And because you never know if you take this game off and are healthy, you never know if you're gonna be able to come back here next year. Mm-hmm. And with the Pacers, with him playing that well game 6 and with him starting that well game 7,
Yeah, 3 from 3. Yeah.
I'll take that any day. I'm sure he was asked the question, would you trade the entirety of next season for a chance for you guys to win the championship? He definitely said yes.
Oh, yeah.
So prayer up to him. Obviously the Patriots probably won't be as good next year without him. Maybe they can get some draft assets, bring him back the following season and start to compete again. But I don't know. I'm not really thinking about that too much right now. I'm just wow, this is probably the best moment of my sports fandom. Like finally everything's like culminated, you know?
100%. And obviously Shai had like a very incredible season, MVP, a 68 win season, Western Conference Finals MVP, finally won the chip, and also Finals MVP as well. So kind of like completed all the accolades he needed to.
Yeah. I think he's this is the highest scoring season by a player to win a championship. Like this is the most points someone's averaged in a regular season, win the championship later. One of two guards ever, him and Michael, to win the scoring title, MVP, Finals MVP. I guess the only player to win the MVP, Finals MVP, and Western Conference Finals MVP, like for the cherry pick stats, whatever.
Yeah.
But like all in all, just a great season. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy because like we normally have so much time between the finals and the NBA draft, but because it's 1-7, like we have like the draft is coming up so soon after. So it's like we get constant basketball draft, then into free agency right after that. Like it's kind of nice. We don't really get that like extended break.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like how like the draft, like once like it's, especially since this series went to a game 7, like the draft is literally in like 2 days, so we don't have to like wait too much.
Yeah. Honestly, nothing really to talk about with this game. Like we kind of like I guess the beauty of like this specific podcast that we pick the Thunder win every game.
We still went 4 for 7. So I think we did something right.
So there's no really like surprise, I guess, with this. Like we expected this. We expected I expected a double-digit win.
Mm-hmm.
Like we kind of got what we expected. So no real analysis with this one. But yeah. I guess we can move on, right, to the exciting part.
Yeah,
a lot of speculation with this one.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA draft, and I do a mock draft every year. This one's on Substack. I'm only doing a Medium, but I'll put the link in the description or whatever. Oh wow, it's the first time we said that. I'll put the link in the description. If you want to subscribe to my future work, it'll be a lot of basketball, a lot of sports, whatever. But I guess I sent it to Chetan. We reviewed some stuff that we'd like to talk about. So yeah, how about you start off and we can begin the first few talking points or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think our first 2 picks are probably self-explanatory. You have Dallas taking Coop and then San Antonio taking Dylan Harper. I feel like around the Dylan Harper pick, they could potentially maybe try and move on from De'Aaron Fox. That could be a possibility because you'd have 2 point guards and like Stephon Castle also. So I don't really see how Fox fits within that timeline as well. So, and they also didn't make the trade for KD. So that kind of makes me think even more like, what are they really going to do? Again, they did sign Fox to an extension when they traded for him. So
what's the extension? Do you remember?
I do not remember. I think it was around 45 mil.
De'Aaron Fox. Because I was also thinking the same thing. Because we were talking about potential De'Aaron Fox trades that could happen potentially to the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
Oh, 5 years, 163 million.
Wow.
He signed. Oh, he didn't sign an extension with the Spurs though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a free agent next season.
Oh, okay. So I mean, maybe they keep him for a season just so like Harper can kind of like learn under him, I guess, just like shadow him a little bit, and then they don't re-sign him after.
Maybe.
Yeah,
but
that's probably that might be the way they go.
Yeah. But I think they should trade him. Like,
yeah.
I think Dylan Harper has a chance to be the best player in the draft. Like, I think the craziest stat ever is that he shot 65% around the rim.
Yeah, that's
the same percentage as Ryan Kalkbrenner, the center out of Creighton. Yeah. Like, that's crazy. Like
doing that as a point guard is pretty crazy work.
Disgusting finisher.
Yeah,
around the basket.
100%. I agree with that. I think there's a very big possibility that he can be probably the best player out of this draft, even better than Coop, in my opinion. I think like skill wise, like his handle's amazing. He's a pretty big body. He's shown flashes of being a great finisher. Not a great finisher, an amazing finisher. He's a pretty decent passer. So I think he has all the tools that he needs. And I think that Cade Cunningham comp is like kind of spot on.
Yeah. I guess the first surprise I guess in my mock would be that Ace Bailey is not the 3rd overall pick. Like you could see around the whole process. Like I remember before the season started, people were like, could Ace overtake Coop and be the number 1 overall pick? And now he's fallen to 4. For a lot of people, he's fallen to 8 think at the Nets
Yeah, wow.
because he seems to be forcing his way to the Nets, according to reports. What do you think? How do you think he's handled the draft process so far? And do you think he could be better than VJ or Trey or DQ, the players that have a
I'm very high on. I think one player I'm very high on the draft is VJ Edgecombe. I think if there's like another player that has a possibility of being like an all-star season in, season out, I think that's him as well. I think his player comp, in my opinion, is like an Anthony Edwards type of player. He has all the physical capabilities to do that. He's very athletic. His shooting mechanics are there. He's shown flashes of being a decent shooter. I think with time in the NBA, he can kind of bring that up like Ant did as well. Defensively, already he's 10 times better than Ant. Off ball, which is Ant's weakness. On ball, I still think he's a better defender than Ant is. I think he's more just engaged defensively, play in and play out. But going to Ace Bailey, I feel like first of all, the MPJ player comp is like also very spot on. I think there's a little bit more defensive upside than Michael Porter Jr. obviously, but the way he handled the draft process, I mean, I feel like Charlotte could have been like a decent place. Like they have decent pieces. You have LaMelo, you have Brandon Miller. Like I think he could have been a great addition there, but I guess like everybody wants to go to Brooklyn, wants to be in New York. If he falls to 8, that would be huge for Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn kind of got robbed in the lottery already, but if he falls to 8, I think that'd be really good for them.
I don't know, bro. I'm not that high on him. Like I think
I'm not super high on him. Like I think that's why I said the MPJ like player comp is like perfect, just with the higher defensive upside. Like I don't think he can continuously be like an all-star or somebody that can run an offense continuously like people think like that they see in him.
Like I watched a lot of Big Ten basketball, obviously, and it's interesting, right? Because I watched the game against Northwestern live where he had 37, and he's running like it was like a 3-dribble 1-on-1 game. Like he was so like locked in, he just couldn't miss. It was like insane to watch someone score 37 points in college. So I'm like, wow, like this could be the guy. So I watched the next game, he had 4 points.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, like the ceiling is obviously there. Like everyone sees it, right? But the floor is so low that like it's, to me, like a team like Charlotte could do it because they have like no future right now. Like they like Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball might get traded. Like you're kind of a clean slate. But if you're looking for a player that like is guaranteed, someone more secure like VJ or like Dylan or Coop or like in my opinion DQ, like you're not gonna get that. I don't think. Like this, like you have to put him in the right system. He has to buy in. He has to buy in offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
Because you saw like Rutgers is losing to start. He just kind of checked out after a certain point. So I don't know. Like I don't like the mentality of before I get in the NBA, I'm gonna try to control my destination. Like
100%.
And I don't know. The people who don't view it as a privilege to play in the NBA might not like pan out.
Same attitude or like compete with the same type of motor that they should be. I could completely see that as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's why I'm very high on BJ, because I think BJ's motor, especially, like I think that's there. I think the effort is there, both sides on the ball continuously. I feel like he can buy into any system. Again, like you said it in the mock draft, I think the description was great. Most teams he'll go to, he'll easily probably be a top three perimeter defender on that team, probably other than the Thunder. Like that's like the only team in my mind I could think of where he's not a top 3 perimeter defender on the team. So I think him at 3 for would be huge, especially for Philly. They need some defensive minded like guards, because their guards right now are very small, and Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain. Again, like if you get VJ, you're loading up on guards, so you maybe see what goes on with those 3 guards there. But I think that would be a really good pick for them.
Yeah, the worry about Philly for me is like I really want to see Philly just develop someone without them getting hurt. And Maxey's good, really good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But like I want to see, I don't know. I want to see it happen before I start saying that like he can actually find a good home there. Yeah. But one other player in the top 5 that we're pretty high on is Trey Johnson.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think I said Devin Booker. Like he could even be a more fluid scorer than Devin Booker. Like he can put the ball in the basket. His shot selection is like kind of insane for college. Like if you watch him play, like it's kind of psychotic. but but he's like the kind of player that like if you like real hoops or like ethical hoops like that, like that's the kind of player that you want to watch. Like his shot creativity is like sublime. Like and like a team like Utah who's like really low on like scores, like their best player last season probably John Collins, which is sad.
Yeah.
Best guards last season probably Isaiah Collier, who's not
Oh yeah.
that good of a scorer.
Mm-hmm.
So you get someone who can inject like 20 points a game off the rip, like that. I think should be like the easiest pick of the draft, and someone I think could even be one of the biggest steals of the draft too.
Yeah, 100%. I'm super high on him. I think his ability to shoot off the dribble is really impressive. You don't really see that too often in college. Like that's a really hard thing for players to pick up really quickly, especially at the college level. And I think it's going to translate tremendously to the NBA level. His handle is also really, really good. He has a very like it's on a string. He doesn't really lose the ball. Doesn't really dribble through traffic or anything like that. So I think if there's somebody that can just come in and kind of just make an impact directly on a team, I think it could be him, especially with the way Utah's going. I mean, Laurie signed that big contract 2 years ago. Ever since then, he hasn't really lived up to the contract. So I think they kind of need somebody to come in and like give them that scoring punch too. Because if you really look at Utah, like the way Laurie plays, he's not a I can go get you a bucket myself 1-on-1 kind of player. It's more of like I'm gonna play through the system. Players are ran for me. Let me like pick and pop three, some stuff like that. So they need somebody that can actually like go 1-on-1 and get them a bucket when they need.
Yeah, that's definitely Trey. Like,
yeah,
it's gonna be exciting to see him play anywhere, but Utah would be really nice. I guess a player that I'm a bit lower on in this is Con Canuple.
Yep.
And I made this 6 days ago. So at that point, KD had not been traded. So now that pick belongs to the Suns. So do you think they'd still want to take Con? Con might go much earlier. Like,
yeah.
I just think he's around the 10th best player in the draft. So I put him there. And I
feel like the best thing for the Suns at the 10 is if it happens, which I don't think it will, even you probably don't think it will, is if Kaman falls to them to 10. You have him going at 9. I feel like there's a possibility he can be drafted over Queen because I think Kaman's combine showed a little bit more like ball handling skill wise and his ability to make a jump shot, which I think in college he wasn't used correctly at all. He kind of looked like like that comp of DeAndre Jordan that you have on the mock draft is like perfect, like a rim running, shot blocking kind of center, but that's not his full skill set. So if it's utilized fully, I think a team like Phoenix could really use a good center.
Yeah, I mean they're starting Nick Richards right now, so they could use anyone.
I agree with that.
I think Con could be cool for him. I saw someone give Con a Gordon Hayward comp. That was a bit interesting. I think he might be a bit too small to be Gordon Hayward. I think he's 6'5", I think.
Yeah.
I mean, if Kaman or DQ or like some solid center falls to the Suns, they should definitely take him. Someone maybe more of a higher upside, because that would signal to me that they're rebuilding. I mean, the Suns lead beat writer said that Bradley Beal is as good as gone. Like, even if he doesn't accept a buyout, they're gonna tell him to stay at home. Like,
don't come to the facility, bro.
Like, it's crazy, bro. I've never seen someone who wants to be there more than he's wanted in the NBA. Like it's actually crazy,
dude. He's like done, bro. He ain't no one picking him up, bro.
He's got to buy him. He's got to get bought out because no one's gonna trade for that contract. Like it's just too much of a commitment.
It's crazy, but
unless they trade their first round capital this year with him for like nothing. Like if they trade like the 10th pick and like I think they have like a pick in the late 20s. If they trade both of those picks plus Bradley Beal to like the Nets for like nothing,
for like
the Nets would probably do it. Not even Claxton. Like I don't think the Nets would give him up for Bradley Beal.
Yeah, they would say no. Maybe the 10th pick they could give him up. They would give him up for.
Maybe, but it's like there's just no one's trading for it. So you got to buy him out.
And apparently they're trying to ship off Jalen Green.
Yeah, if they ship off Jalen Green, then they got to ship off Devin Booker too. Like might as well just trade everyone.
They have no team, bro.
Trade everyone. Trade Devin Booker to the Grizzlies. Get that fucking pick back, bro. And let
Grayson Allen run the team.
Yeah. I was saying they should have traded Grayson Allen to the Rockets along with Kevin Durant to try to get one of their picks back. Because Like you get that low-key that 27 Suns pick is so valuable. The Rockets have the 27 pick and the 29 pick.
I think, yeah.
So they low-key just can't tank.
Yeah, they can't. So that's a little they put themselves in quite a predicament, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Bradley Beal put them in a predicament.
I don't know. Free Devin Booker. Get him out of there.
Yeah, for real.
The next pick, you're not that high on Carter Bryant. I found that interesting.
I just I mean, I could see the defensive upside, obviously, but how many attempts did he shoot from three? Because I watched a couple of like Arizona games, and like some of the games he shot, like his shot just looks weird to me. I don't know.
Give you the exact number. Yeah, I'm not sure how many attempts he got from three.
I just feel like defensively, he's there. I feel like when I watched him in college, I think that's a problem with all young players is fouling a lot. I think he was in foul trouble at least the 3 games I was in. He was taken out of the game because he had 4 fouls, and then 2 of the games he fouled out. So fouling is like something you can work on in the NBA. I think a lot of players, even now, after being in the league for so long, still have foul problems, like Jaren Jackson Jr. and like Cat, but they're still very playable players and like all stars at the same time. I don't know, but like for me, it's just like he didn't pass my eye test when I watched him play. I feel like even though he was making the shots, like it just looked awkward. Sometimes I feel like the spacing was a little off. He wasn't playing in the flow of the game at times. But again, like when you have a player like Caleb Love, who's kind of like taking up so many parts of the possession, there's not really too much you can do with the ball when you have it yourself. So I mean, I can see the defensive upside 100%, but I don't understand why Portland would want him, because you said they have somebody like a Tumani Kamara who's already like very well polished defensively, who shoots the 3 ball pretty well, who's already an athletic finisher. I feel like there could be a possibility he drops a little bit. I mean, Chicago can use him. Even he could be pretty cool in Houston. No, they don't have that pick anymore though. I was gonna say because they got rid of Dylan Brooks, that would have been a perfect replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah, Phoenix doesn't need him because they have Brian Dunn, so that's kind of like a copy and paste right there.
My thing was, it's 3 attempts, by the way. He's shooting 3 attempts, but I think a lot of teams might try to adapt like a lot of wing defenders. Like you see the Knicks try it, right, with Mikhail and OG. You see the Thunder with Caruso, Dort, J-Dub, like a lot of similar profile like wing defenders.
Yeah,
and with the Blazers, like definitely gonna trade Simons. Probably should trade Ayton. Like there's some roster flexibility there where you have like Scoot, Shaden, Denny, and Klingon probably as like guaranteed starters, and that 4 spot is a bit empty. So I thought like if you can get Carter there to play, like to be able to guard like bigger wings while Kamara tries to guard the guards, that would be like a good defensive fit.
Yeah.
And like anybody who can like play great defense and shoot the 3 is like valuable in the NBA.
Especially coming out of college, like directly too.
Yeah. So I don't know if he's gonna be able to be a superstar or anything, but like I think like a team like Portland, who already has so many high draft picks, they have Scoot, they took at 2, they have at 3, they have Shaden, who they took at like 7, like they Klingon, they took at 7. Like there's a lot of like players that are already like established themselves as like high draft picks. Like you need players that can just plug and play, I guess.
That's 100%. I can see that too.
So I think, who do you want to talk about next?
Well, I think one player I wasn't as high on was Danny Wolf. I just feel like for me it's his size and like defensively, he's not. I don't think he's gonna be quick enough to move with some of the centers in the league. Like a lot of the centers in the league have some combos they can do within 10 to 15 feet of the basket, and if you're slow-footed, you're gonna get beat pretty quickly off those moves. Like I don't see him being able to guard a Embiid, guard a Wemby, like stay in front of them at all. Like Cat, a player like that can take you out into the perimeter a little bit. Like that's the way the NBA is kind of going. Offensively, though, he can do that to other centers. He can shoot the 3 ball a little bit. His post game is actually very good. His touch around the rim is amazing. It's just defensively. But again, like we see Zach Edey have still making a very positive impact on the Grizzlies when he's playing because of rebounding, offensive rebounding. So I mean, there's ways to compensate both ways for that, and I think a team like Atlanta could definitely use a player like that, especially with the way like Clint Capella is kind of regressing in his career. He's not a starting worthy center in my opinion anymore. His offensive game isn't really there. I think that pick and pop with Trey could be really cool. They already have some pretty decent complementary pieces around them with Jalen Johnson, and then they drafted Shai last season. So I mean, adding Wolf onto that team could be pretty interesting in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he fits well alongside Trey because they already have Onyeka as a pick and roll option. I thought playing Danny alongside Onyeka would give him a pick and roll and a pick and pop option. I feel like that would be quite cool. I just think Jokic has really allowed like non-defensively oriented bigs to thrive in the NBA. Like people like
Sengun.
Yeah, like whether it's true or not, right? Like whether people can match his output or not. Şengün, of course, but I think like his success gives like kind of like some sort of blueprint for someone like Danny to be able to like succeed. He's not as immobile as Jokic is, but like he's obviously like 7'1", a bit slow footed. Like you can see him move on the court. He's obviously not the most athletic. Like he's like a mind over like body type player. Like he's gonna be with his brain, not with his like bronze rather, you know. And like similar to DQ. Like DQ isn't obviously the most athletic player, but like Jokic kind of gives him a player to build his game around, kind of like just be there defensively and like do your best because you know what you're going to give us offensively as well. And I guess the next player I have immediately after, probably the most talked about prospect in these sort of like weeks leading up to the draft, because some mocks have him going 25, some mocks have him going 4, is Noah Esenge. And I just chose to just stick it straight in the middle, like 14 to the Spurs, because they have some flexibility in terms of how they can develop a player. But a lot of Giannis comps for this guy.
See, I don't like when players give a Giannis comp to people, to like other players, because what Giannis did is very rare. Like that body transformation and his ability to kind of athletically just like keep that athleticism as he got bigger and bigger and was still able to continue to progress as a jump shooter a little bit. Like I feel like that's a very rare thing to happen in the NBA. Like you're not going to see that continuously just because somebody has the frame that Giannis had when he was younger and could do those kind of things. Like I don't think it's directly able to translate 100%. Like I think like one of one in my opinion. Like I think Giannis is a one of one type of player. Like I don't think we're going to see somebody that dominant. So I mean, I could see how they get the comps. I think the Jaden McDaniels comp is actually a lot better, and if he can become a Jaden McDaniels type of player and even have a little bit better of a 3-ball, that 14th pick would be perfect. Especially if we're like defensively that locked in, and also I mean, I think the best thing about Jaden's game this year was his ability to get to the rim as a finisher and kind of get to his spot in the mid range. And I mean, Noah Esenge is a great finisher. He draws a lot of fouls, which I think he can already translate that into his game when he comes into the league. And I mean, his 3-ball is like, it's like okay, it's like whatever. He can make the open 3 in the corner. I think that's what you kind of need to do. Jaden struggles to do that, so I feel like if you can do that a little bit better, then that 14th pick is good. But trying to take him at 4 because you're trying to take the upside of him becoming a Giannis kind of player, I think that's way too risky. Because in your mock draft, you said you're taking the risk of having a player end up being a Darius Bazley, who we all know is not what people thought he would be. But yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, again, like you can like Charlotte just drafts for upside. Like they drafted like that Tijan Salaun guy last year in the top and he doesn't even play basketball right now. So
he's like learning how to play basketball, bro.
Yeah, like bro, come on, like they're real players that stake their career on this shit, bro. This guy just became tall and wants to play hoops now.
Yeah,
he's cool. I don't know, but I know obviously he's a lot different. Like he's been there on the pro circuit for a long time, but like people forget that when Jaden came out of college, like he wasn't a good defender in college, but he just had the frame and like the build to be a good defender. You put the work in. Like that's what like people expect Noah to be. I think the Giannis comps completely come from his ability to handle the ball and draw fouls. Like
Yeah,
Giannis is like the best, probably the best or second best in the NBA at drawing fouls and like playing through contact and like dominant and like being an imposing presence on other teams. Obviously, his size now and his body transformation is the reason that he's so good at being as dominant as he is, and we have to see if Noah can do that. I agree with you. I think Giannis is one of one. I think people trying to chase the next Giannis is stupid.
yeah,
But I mean, like people get tempted, man. Like when you when you
yeah.
when
They
you
do.
see the potential of something, like you gotta go for it, right?
Yeah. I mean, like again, like if you look at like Wemby too, like Wemby's generational talent. But every year is like people's like, okay, he's gonna gain 10, 15 pounds, 10, 50 pounds, 10, 15 pounds. You look at him, he still kind of looks the same. Like
Yeah,
when you, in my opinion, like when a player gets drafted, like Wemby's potential, it's gonna go. It's so high in my opinion, not because of his body. I think it's just because of how skilled he is as a player for how
bag,
tall
yeah.
he is. Yeah, it's his bag at his height. I don't think him getting bigger is puts his potential like that much higher. A player like him, like Noah, like if he does get bigger and can keep that same speed and do what Giannis does, that'd be amazing. But like that's really hard to do.
Yeah, it's really hard to and a player like coming in with Giannis comms, bro. That's so much pressure to
Yeah.
like do like people don't understand like how rare Giannis is as like a player. Like
Like Giannis didn't have like a Giannis comp coming into like going into the
yeah,
NBA. He was able to just like he didn't play like a couple seasons, then he just came into the spotlight. Like he was able to take his time without the pressure and do what he needed to do. But with this pressure, when you're expected to perform right away like that, it kind of makes people underperform a little bit. But that's kind of
that's
also
why I
like
hope he goes to Spurs.
yeah, but that's also kind of your ability to be in the NBA too, kind of deal with that pressure. Like I feel like you kind of have to do that as a professional athlete.
True. I mean I don't think he'll be Giannis, but I think
Yeah,
like
I think
I,
Jaden McDaniels could definitely be a proper comp.
yeah. And we can talk about we'll talk about Nick Clifford real quick because I know both of us are pretty high on him. I have him going to the Thunder. I
Yep.
don't think the Thunder keep this pick. I
Yeah.
think they move up, which is like crazy to say that they can actually do that. But I
Yeah.
think they move up probably to 10-ish and try to get Connors like a shooter, like someone like much more reliable. But if they stay here and get Neek, that's a steal in my opinion.
hmm I think
Like
so. We both are. I don't know if you guys remember, like John, one of our friends. He goes to CSU, so he's a Colorado State fan. So I kind of got in. I kind of started watching a CSU and Neek because of like him. But he's a. When I first tapped into him, I was like, okay, like this dude, like every single time he had the ball, it's like he knew what he wanted to do. He got to like that same exact like it's like in his mind he knew a spot he wanted to get to. He knew what combo he had to do to get there, and he did it. And his shooting abilities, it's amazing. Like in my opinion, he can be a little bit of a streaky shooter. Like sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off, and it's not consistent throughout the game. But again, when it's on, like it's really really good. But I think that you again like translating the three ball to the NBA is a little bit harder in my opinion, especially when it's not super consistent. But I think his ability to make like NBA ready plays and be that kind of player that can get to the mid range a little bit off the or give you that spark off the bench would be really huge.
yeah, Presti likes drafting shot creators, not like
Mhm.
people who like. I think Isaiah Joe is the one player that Presti sought after that like doesn't naturally create his own shot.
Mhm.
And so this kind of fits his sort of draft bill, like a wing player who can kind of like do everything. Like he's like not a he obviously has the intangibles to be able to play defense. Like he's a great mid range shot creator. He can get to the basket. He has a little 3-point jump shot. Obviously three got to work on, but everyone got to work on their 3-point shot.
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna be really good for wherever team he goes to. I see a lot of players, a lot of teams going to go to the Magic.
Mhm.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Especially if they don't steal Nikhil Alexander Walker from you guys.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think the next one we got to talk about the Timberwolves pick.
Yeah. I
And
think I think Noah Penda would be a pretty cool pick for like wing depth coming off the bench. I feel like we if we do resign Nikhil, I think that would that would make it a little bit harder because we already have Terrence Shannon Jr. and apparently Finch has already said that TSJ is going to be a lot more involved in the rotation next season. So I mean, with the description you gave and with what I've seen off of his playability, it's I think the defense is really good, and being a good defender in the French league is very hard, because in my opinion, I think defense overseas is 10 times harder, especially in Europe and especially in France, because you have a lot of great defenders from France, like a four-time defensive player of the year in Rudy, Wemby, Tony Parker. Like, you have a lot of great defenders from France, so I think the defense is going to translate very easily. We need somebody that can kind of come in and give us a spark very quickly offensively, if it's off the bench or if it's starting at the point guard or center position. And I feel like developing somebody that already has like a decent jump shot, but we need somebody that has a very, very consistent jump shot, and especially a 3-point shot, because I think in the playoffs, what we lacked was consistent 3-point shooting. There would be games where we would go like 16 for 35. There would be games where we would go like 2 for like 29. Like, that's just not possible. You need somebody that can kind of continuously give you those 3 to 4 threes a game continuously on like 40% shooting. And I think that's somebody we need. I think the best thing we could do would probably trade up, and I really want Kaman. I think having Kaman at the center position, especially as like our center rotation, would be really huge. I don't know how we would be able to do that, because you'd probably have to trade up to like either 8 or like somewhere between 8 to 10. That's being a little sincere. I would say if you want to like confirm that you get him, it would probably have to be around like 6 or 7. But I think if we do end up with a player like Noah Penda, I think I would be completely fine with it. It just depends fully on the development. I think we have a great developmental team. Ant developed an amazing 3-point shot within 1 summer. Now he said he's going to work on something else. I feel like he's going to be able to do that as well. Who else? Jaden has developed into a player that we can kind of get the ball and kind of go get you a bucket if you need be. Nas's development since being in the NBA has been tremendous. He went from being an undrafted player to 6th man of the year. So I feel like, especially also players like Jalen Clark, just come in for a little 10-15 minutes in the game and still make a difference. Like, that just all shows how well the team is slowly developing players. And I think that was something that the team had to work on like 5-6 years ago, because there was a bunch of draft prospects that I was high on that we weren't able to develop into, especially like a player like Jared Culver. I was very high on him, especially after that national championship game, and we saw what happened with that. But if we were able to get him a shot, I think it would be a great pick, especially with some shooting guard depth with Ant coming off the bench. I think that'd be huge.
Yeah. One player I'm not sure you've kept tabs on, I know the viewers definitely haven't because he's overseas, that is rising a lot since I made this mock. I have him going 26 of the Nets, is Joan Behringer.
Okay.
And like he has a lottery grade on him now, which is crazy. But like he would be the next best thing after Kaman. So if Kaman goes high, I could see you guys maybe getting him. He's a 6'10", 6'11" center. Real shot blocking prowess. Like, he doesn't really have anything besides like a paint game yet. So like the shooting obviously isn't there, but
I think for
you guys need shooters at center.
I think for us, if we're able to if that defensive upside at the center position doesn't go too low from Rudy, and all we need, bro, is somebody that can catch the fucking ball in the paint. That's all we need. Literally somebody that can finish a layup and catch the ball. And if a lot of these centers in this draft, especially like somebody that I'm a little high on too, is Thomas Sorber. I think his ability to finish around the rim, and especially I think he's a very underrated passer as well. I think that's a very underrated part of his game. So somebody like that, or even who you just said, I think if you can keep that defense as high as you can and not drop it off as much from Rudy, and just get a lot better of an upgrade at the offense position, especially in the paint, that would do a lot of things for us. So yeah, I think that would be huge. But I think Kaman would be like the dream case scenario for me.
Yeah, of course. I think so. The last player I have here to talk about is Walter Clayton. We can obviously talk more if anything else comes to your mind, but we need the clicks, guys. You got to talk about Walter Clayton. But obviously, coming off a great college season, most outstanding player. If college basketball had an MVP, it would definitely be Walter Clayton. He carried that Florida team to national championship. I don't think he should be a first-round pick, but some people have him going in the lottery, so I had to put him somewhere. What do you think? Do you think he'd be good in the NBA? Do you think it's going to be a team-dependent scenario? I have him going to Utah.
I think he has the ability to Well, if you really like saw a lot of the shots they were taking, like he doesn't create too much separation on his shots. I think he's just a really good tough shot maker, and I feel like you can translate that to the NBA, like, because that's, I mean, the competition level does go up, athleticism does go up tremendously, which in my opinion, I don't think he can translate as well as he did in college to the NBA, but he can, in my opinion, be someone like a Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench that gives you like a 10 points in like 7 minutes and like a little quick spark or something like that. I think that 21 pick would be kind of cool for the Jazz where you have him going, but I can also see him being a second rounder. I think like coming out of the second round, if you draft a player with him who does have a little bit of upside, and maybe he can be a player that can go out there and average 20, but at the worst case, he can still be a player off the bench giving you 10, 12, something like that.
Like it just screams Shabazz Napier to me, bro. It's I put Jamal Murray and Shabazz Napier. Like Jamal Murray's the ceiling, I think.
Yeah. He's a little short and kind of stocky a little bit. He doesn't rely on athleticism too much, so I can see how you see that.
And like I think score first seniors in college don't translate, bro.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna get drafted with like the 20, it's really hard to like be the best player in a team getting drafted in the late 20s or early 20s or whatever. And he, to me, especially in the game against Houston, didn't show me an ability to be able to beat NBA level defenses.
Yeah.
I think Houston is an NBA level defense, like the way that they're coached.
Yeah.
And like he was a no-show in that game essentially.
Yeah.
Like until like the late stage of the second half. Very clutch player, very tough shot maker, but you're gonna need the ball in your hands to be able to make tough shots. Like,
Yep.
and if he goes to Utah, I have him taking Trey Johnson. He's not getting the ball. If he goes to one of those teams that already have an established sort of core in the NBA, he's gonna have to make a name for himself in other ways. And I'm not sure if your game can develop that much after you're already 23. Like you've already spent 4 years in college. You've already like kind of reached the peak of what you can be as a player. Like obviously they're like players in the 80s and 90s used to come directly from college. Like I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I don't remember the last player who spent 4 years at college and ended up being an all-star. Like
I agree with that. Yeah. I think one other player or two other players we could touch on at the end would be Jace Richardson and Asa Newell. I'm not too high on Asa Newell. I think, I don't really think he's as good as people think he is. I think people are a lot higher than they should be on him. He doesn't. Yeah, like I don't know. There's really not too much else for me to say.
Yeah, I didn't watch too much of Asa. I mean, I honestly kept tabs with him because he was on that Montverde team with Coop and DQ and McNeely and stuff. So I kept tabs, but like I just don't like. I don't know. Like he seems really like one-dimensional. Seems like a lot of people have a high grade on him because they compare him to players like Derek Lively or like maybe like I saw Chris Bosh comps. I don't know. There's a lot of players that are very high on him. I don't know. Like I didn't see that in a few Georgia games I watched. I kind of saw more Zeke Naji. I saw someone that can come in and give you like 4 to 6 points a night. Like nothing like too crazy. Someone who can give you some bench depth on like a couple regular season games when you really need someone. I could be terribly wrong. This guy could be the next fucking like David Robinson, bro. I don't fucking know, but like the player that you mentioned that I am apparently higher on than other people are, Jace Richardson, who didn't get a green invite. Like Tom Izzo's system doesn't benefit high volume scoring guards, and like so he struggled for the first like 2 months of the season, but when he found his role in the offense, he was average. He was the best player on a team that like won the Big Ten. Like on a team with like a lot of really good players. Like he stood out, averaging 12 points a game and 40% shooting from three. Like he's just like, should he have stayed another year in college and he boost his draft stock? Like sure, but I think an NBA team who might be able to draft him in the late first round to early second round could get a really high level backup point guard for super cheap.
I agree with that. I just think the only knack to him is him being short, just being a little bit undersized. I think that's it. But
how tall is he, bro? You can't be that short.
I think he's like 6'2".
That's fine. Damian Lillard's 6'2".
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's a little short.
He's 6'2". Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's not terrible. I think the best part of his game is his shooting. He's a great shooter. His playmaking also is another amazing part of his game. I feel like you have him going to the Pelicans. I don't think DeJounte is he under contract?
He should be, right?
Yeah,
DeJounte Murray contract. I know CJ is, but that's relevant.
I think in general, I think they move on from DeJounte. I think the Pelicans again, like they came out saying that everybody on their team is basically open on the market for trade. I feel like drafting a player like a Jace Richardson could kind of give them some point guard depth. I don't really know if there's anybody in the league that would want CJ McCollum. I mean, he's still a pretty decent player, I guess.
He's
So
cool. Like
yeah,
a contending. Maybe y'all, honestly.
nah, bro, we can't have him start at point guard, bro.
Off
No.
the bench, off the bench, off the bench.
Oh, I could be down with that, but I'm not paying him like 30 mil off the bench, bro. 40 mil off the bench. He probably makes like 30 mil.
He makes 30 mil. Oh my god, he does.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, never mind. Y'all got it.
Nah, we're chilling. But yeah, I think the Darius Garland comp is, if it does pan out, I think that's perfect. I think that's a player that he can be.
Yeah. I mean, no green room invite means no team made him a promise, which means that
Yeah.
he could slip far. But I don't know. Like, I think point guard is one of the positions that every team should kind of look at and be like, let me solidify this one. And
Yeah.
like, I don't think he's too far off the Jeremiah Fears, the Nolan
Mhm.
Traore, like the other like players in this draft who are at his position. So
I
I don't know,
agree.
someone like a steal in my opinion.
Yep, 100%. But going through the mock draft, I don't think there's anybody else I really wanted to touch on. Is there anybody you wanted to touch on?
No, I mean, if you guys want to read the full thing, find out all the grades and shit I gave, like just
Yes, sir.
it's like go to the article, we'll put the link somewhere on like the Instagram or something. We'll figure it
Yeah,
out.
I'll put the link in the post. We post the episode. We'll put it in the comments.
Yeah.
And then,
Subscribe to that. Subscribe to the pod.
yes, sir. And then we'll probably do another episode after the draft is over because there'll probably be some teams that make some stupid decisions. There'll probably be some trades that happened. So yeah, we'll probably do something like that, and then we'll also keep doing episodes throughout the off season. Me and Aashrith last off season did some like random segments that we would just come up with. So we'll probably maybe start to get back into that a little bit. But also, I have a feeling this off season is going to be filled with a decent amount of trades and things like that. Nice. Nice. But yeah, like Asha said, follow us on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Off the Dribble Pod, and we will see you guys next episode. Peace.